like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat.
Ciao ragazzi, and welcome to another edition of Serie Sitdown, World Football Index's podcast of Calcio Told Like It Is. I'm Frank Crivello. He's Richard Carmen. Ciao, Richard.
Ciao, Frank. How are we doing tonight, huh?
Oh, we're doing all right. Just got through a busy week and busy weekend of soccer and coaching, and so begins the life of kids with multiple activities over the weekend, and trying to find what time I can steal to get my eyes on the Calcio so that I can be competent for the people out there that tune into us every week. So, yeah, it's good. So I'm going to enjoy a little spotted cow because it was a good weekend. The boys I coach had a successful weekend, won every game, and in fact had to play. They had three scheduled games, and they actually ended up playing 4 games. We played the first game. We played against a team that only showed up with 3 kids, and then we were supposed to play back to back. We were on neighboring fields with the other 2 teams in our group. So the team with the 3 kids just decided to go home after that first game, and then so we ended up splitting our team so that we had, some of my guys would play in the game they were scheduled to play, and others went to the other field, and then some other players came over. So I was standing in between 2 fields, coaching 2 games at the same time. One was a winner by the score of 9-3. The other was a winner by a score of 10-4. So
you're like Conte, just screaming at both everywhere, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was when he was doing that, pointing and doing all that. That was me. That was me on Saturday night. So
nice.
And then wrapped up with a win this morning. So congrats to it was my son's team. So they did a nice job. So but. Other than that, and then my daughter she's on a U6 team. They won 17-0. It was just kind of, it's at 6. At 6, you don't know what you're getting. So, but what can you say?
Yeah.
Frank, you didn't buy the new Italian jersey. Horrible. I'm on the away jersey, the white one. Yeah, that I don't know about that. So anyway, how are you?
I'm good. I'm drinking. I'm actually drinking tonight. A little Grevensteiner here.
There you go.
There we go. So drinking tonight. Busy this weekend. I didn't have games that took my son to or anything like that, but I did a lot of lawn work. So I'm trying to balance all that life and games as well. So it's always a delicate balance, especially during the spring and summertime. So
yeah.
We got about a month to go here, so we'll see how the season wraps up, and I can get more free time to work on my lawn, I guess, and do the house chores.
Sure. Killing any dandelions or?
Oh yeah, I'm at the point now where I just walk around the yard, just pull up dandelions, random ones. So yeah, I'm doing a good job. My lawn looks green. I'm dominating the neighbors.
I'm spraying them. I can't. I did the pulling them one year, and just the hamstrings were just angry with me for like 3 days.
Oh, I have like a handful of them. There's not many to pull, so
yeah. So we had quite a few, and I'm trying to think of my nonna if she saw all those dandelions in the yard and saw me spraying them. She'd probably be pretty pissed. She'd probably want to figure out how she could take them and make salad with it. the old world Italians. That's what they're doing with that stuff. So,
oh yeah.
anyway, salute, David. Good to have you with us. If you are watching us, please join in when the chat. Check in with us. Tell us what you're drinking too. That'd be kind of good to know. Please, if this is the first time, please subscribe, drop a like, helps us out a bunch. So thank you very much. Match week 33, Richard, almost in the books.
Yep, almost in the books.
We got one of those weird weeks where
we're back to normalcy now, right? Because last week was a little hectic with the whole Super League thing, right? And then now we're back to normalcy with the league game that went on this weekend. So yeah, almost all the games are wrapped in the book. So
yeah, it was nice to be able to that Super League grand opening and grand closing, huh?
Yeah, like someone said, Fry Festival, right? That was up and down. It was lots of chaos there. I mean, many of us were stuck on Twitter for like 48 hours, unfortunately, because we had all this news constantly kept breaking. So
Stevie from Milan Weekly Pod going to be in the chat tonight, or is he going to watch the Oscars?
He might do both. I don't know. That's a good question. Woody Ocho's in the chat. He says he poured a glass of Nebbiolo. Okay.
All right. Good stuff. That's a nice little drink to have on a Sunday night. Get you ready for the week.
That's right.
No shame in that. So, the here and gone, and then you and I had a respectful disagreement on what's going to happen with the clubs and getting punished. Let's touch on that.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Listen, Serie almost depends on Milan, Inter, and Juventus. And we just had Calciopoli 15 years ago where they decided to throw their weight around and send Juve to Serie B and send, deduction of points to Milan, deduction of points to Fiorentina. And the falling action from that was not good for Serie A. I think that Serie A was stained just from the incident of Calciopoli itself. Here's where I am at on this. And I listened to it from a lot of different angles. A big vehicle of revenue for Serie A is the TV deal. Okay. And if you figure out, if you remove, or you figuring out how to, if you drop them to Serie B or doing all this other stuff, AC Milan, Inter, and Juventus are a big part of the viewership. I mean, if you're getting a deal, if you're getting ESPN Plus, or if you're getting, which will be Paramount Plus next season, DAZN, depending on where you're at, you're probably watching it because you support one of those three teams, or you support the Roman clubs, or you support Napoli, with a sprinkle of some of the cult clubs like Atalanta, some Fiorentina, some Udinese, and teams like that. Okay. The rest of the clubs are pretty much subsidized by that level of viewership. So for these 11 clubs to have gone after and done,
you sound like Agnelli a little bit right here now, just to let you know.
But I'm just looking. I am looking at this from a business sense. I mean, the 11 those 11 clubs, do they really want to bite the hand that feeds them? Is the question that I want to ask here. Or do we just say, hey, if you guys want to be part of something like this, you help us wet our beaks a little bit too. That's what I would try to get around towards doing, because, I think overall, as far as City House, you got to figure out how to keep a happy shop here with all 20 teams. And going after these three teams for trying to chase more money, I get the free market capitalism aspect of what Milan, Inter, and Juventus attempted to do. And let's just put it this way. It wasn't the players and it wasn't the coaches. That's the other problem I have with punishing them. They didn't do anything wrong. Okay. This would be like the NCAA here in the United States with college sports banning a football team from postseason play for 2 years over something that happened 5 years ago that had nothing to do with the players that are there. It's relatively similar in that regard. So I think, levying some degree of punishment, I think that there are a lot of obstacles for that to happen.
Oh, sure. I get that. And for the NCAA stuff, for certainly the stuff that happens by the executive side, and the teams get levied these 2-year bans, whatever, that's harsh. But when a coach is involved, I think it's more than just, it sucks for the players for sure, but the coach is actually directly involved. But, you made your comparisons to 2006 Calciopoli, and I think, I don't think I think the fact that the teams cheated, they were match fixing, that's what really hurt. Not the fact that the big clubs were gone. But I do agree with you that Milan, Inter, and Juve are where the majority of the fans lie, and a majority of the revenue and outside interest comes because of these three clubs, and I get that totally. But I also don't think we can let these three clubs and the remaining 9 clubs that are involved in the Super League go unscathed. I think they deserve some kind of punishment. Now, I don't think they deserve relegation. I don't think they deserve point deduction because, to your point, the players and the coaches did nothing about it, right? It was all the executives. I think it should be heavily fined. I think transfer ban should be installed. But anything that affects the player, I don't think Inter, who their players have been doing by far the best team in the league this year, they shouldn't be losing the Scudetto this year because of what happened because of this. But I do think they should get transfer ban going to next year, as well as Milan and Juventus. And point deduction. I mean, if a couple points here and there that doesn't cost Inter the title, that's fine. It doesn't hurt me as much with Juve and Milan, but to take a title from Inter because of this is going to be unfair. I'm sure Atalanta would love to see that, but I digress. I ultimately think you can't. These 3 teams on all 12 teams involved have to be punished in some way or form, shape or form. And for me, transfer bans and heavy fines. I'm talking about heavy fines, not just chump change. I'm talking about heavy fines to the owners. Needs to be implemented, and I know 11 of the 14 teams in Serie A, they still want punishment for these 3 clubs. The other 6, obviously the top 3 who are involved, and then I think Fiorentina and Roma, Lazio, I think it was, or Napoli or whatever, they were the ones like, we're not going to say anything. But I think something should happen. They can't go unscathed. So that would just be even a worse black eye than it already is with the racism and everything else that's going on in Serie A. So that's all I'm saying. So.
How about what would you say to this then? What would you say to the actual individuals that were involved behind the scenes representing these clubs being removed with and if they want to return to football activities or business related football activities, that they have a show cause over a period of time? I think that would be a reasonable punishment to mete out, because again, we're talking about a small number of individuals within these 3 clubs that were involved. Paolo Maldini, I think, has come out and said he knew nothing about it. And then he said, if there's going to be a Super League, there has to be a meritocracy to it. Paraphrasing what he said, I think he spoke out on this during the middle of the week. But a guy like Gazidis, and Agnelli, whoever was involved on the Inter side, that they're removed from these clubs, and there's a show cause period that they have to have before they can return either to those clubs or return to football in general.
Yeah, David brings up a good point that technically Milan and Juve have not pulled out of the Super League. Inter has, but that's beside the point. I agree with that. I agree with your statement about just making whoever's responsible for this leave the clubs. I've been saying Gazidis out all week, but I also was thinking about it. How do you know exactly who was involved? Right? Is Gazidis going to be the scapegoat for Elliott management, or is we don't know who exactly? We know Agnelli's the one in charge for Juve, and as well as Zhang for Inter, and some other ones, obviously Fiorentino Perez for Real Madrid. But how are we going to be certain the people who get ultimately shit canned are the ones who are actually the culprits, right? They could just be firing somebody. It could be Elliott management behind the whole thing here for Milan side, and Gazidis is a scapegoat, So I'm for it. I'm completely for that. But yeah, it's hard to say. How do you know for sure they were the ones involved, right?
Sure. All I'm saying is that it's really, really tricky. In
Definitely.
terms of how you do this with the Serie A clubs. Because you look at the progress that Serie A has made, kind of coming from the dregs of Calciopoli, to where they are now, and maybe referring to them as a sleeping giant as it is with leagues around Europe. And do you really want to take steps back when so much progress has been made? And these are some challenging things that are going to have to get addressed here.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's going to be interesting. We're not near the fallout. Now I'll make another point, and I said this on Alex Donald's radio show on Friday. There will be a Super League. Okay, they have been talking about Super League ever since
forever.
Hell, Berlusconi and Galliani were talking about it in the 90s. Okay,
yeah.
And in ever since money became prominent in football, and it all happened when Berlusconi invested in Milan. You started seeing, some larger financial investments, but it really kicked in after Bosman.
What's the name of the guy on Sirius XM? He's always involved with Serie. What's his name? Oh my goodness.
He's on the Charlie Solitano.
Yes. So he's come out and with the whole leaks that came out with Der Spiegel kind of unveiled. Those are involved, and it talked about how like Berlusconi and Galliani were heavily involved in that, and several teams were involved in that. So yeah, it's been talked about for years.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I mean, ever since money has been more and more prominent in football, they've been talking about that, and you got to go all the way back. You go all the way back to Bosman, and lifting the limit on foreigners that can play for clubs. It made it so much easier to invest more and more money into the clubs to go out and buy whoever they wanted. To the point where Wenger's Arsenal for long periods of time fielded 11s without one Englishman, and I don't know Mourinho's Inter that won the treble. I think Materazzi is the only Italian.
Yeah, I think he was.
So, that's what football evolved to. So, once that happened, and then with money becoming a Super League is going to happen. What I wanted to say, and I also said this on Friday, if you're going to do this, I don't think you can leave behind the clubs that, have European pedigree to them that had been, let's just face it, the way UEFA constantly revised the Champions League, it left some very historic clubs in the dust. I would like to see them involved in some shape, form, or fashion. You can have this, and I'm talking about a Porto, a Benfica, the Dutch sides, Ajax, PSV Eindhoven, Feyenoord, clubs that in the past that have gone on to win, the Champions Cup prior to being the Champions League, and even Porto winning the Champions League under Mourinho. Somehow you got to give them some involvement here. You've got to have an accountability. You've got to have a promotion relegation. So if there's going to be a European Super League, my gut tells me that it is going to replace, something like the, Champions League, where you almost have a format relatively similar to the Nations League. You have the absolute premier flight of 20 teams, and then you have a second flight of 20 and a third flight of 20. And these teams work their way up and down. And then, if there's a fourth flight, the teams that are at the bottom of that are entirely out of any kind of Super League. And you bring in some new teams and you find some format with which you can do that. You want to do it that way and get rid of the Champions League format. I might be willing to get on board with that. But I like the league and knockout format that the Champions League brings. I like the once in a while. I like the infrequency of of two major European clubs clashing, that they don't see each other every year, that it's every so often. That whets the appetite a lot more for the neutral fan when you have that happen than if you see them all of a sudden, if it's once or twice a year that they're seeing each other, then it just becomes ordinary.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it looks like my camera froze here, which is fine.
I still hear you.
That's fine. That's all that matters. Yeah, no, and I agree totally about that, because I'd get sick of seeing the same teams over and over again. That's the thing with me. I would want to see. That's why I like the Champions League the way it is, because every now and then you do get those big games that you're like, oh, that's for years it was like for like a 5-year stretch where we saw Barca Milan every year in the knockout round. Dude, that's fine, because we always saw them for a couple games. I don't want to see them for 10 games a year or whatever. And I mean, imagine some of these clubs that are champions are going to get. You can see a couple teams start dominating other teams in other leagues, and then really put the value of the other leagues down even further than they already are. So. Yeah, it's a whole different thing, and it's so many things to debate about. And I guess once more things start unraveling, and as we get closer and closer to this, I guess we can see where it goes. But I don't know if I'm just there yet, ready for Super League. I know it's coming, like you said, it's coming. They've been talking about it for a while. They're getting closer and closer, but yeah, it's interesting. And plus, I love the Champions League music. I mean, that's like the best anthem in the world. Come on now, can't get rid of that.
Yeah, That's been one of the great sporting anthems of all time. It's hard to. I agree with you there. Definitely hard to turn away from that. So yeah, so that's where we're at right now with the fallout with the Super League. There's going to be varying opinions about the punishment. There's going to be varying opinions about how it should be formatted going forward. But I mean, I don't think we're getting away from a Super League actually happening. I think we're going to have one at some point. I think the optics on how this one was presented, when it was presented, how they went about doing it during a pandemic and all the things that we ranted about last week, just bad timing. Not bad timing, and then also a very bad plan. It's the combination of it. It was a perfect storm, and it got everybody riled up.
It did.
So, how about we talk some Calcio?
Let's do it. A lot of goals.
Right. Yeah, there were. I mean, boring Serie ass, as people are now saying on Twitter. Like, okay, you're original, very funny. But anyway, let's get on with it. Genoa and Spezia opened things up. A 2-0 win for the Grifone. Both goals in the second half. That man again, Gianluca Scamacca, in the 62nd minute. And then in the 86th minute, Eldor Shomurodov in a goal provided by Kevin Strootman. Final there, 2-0. Spezia with all of the possession. It was a Ballardini masterclass. Here, you guys have the ball. We're going to counter you. And Spezia got the dentist chair treatment here. 6 shots on target for Genoa, so very effective going forward on the counter in that game. Parma and Crotone. Parma had any realistic chance of survival. They had to win this game. They didn't. 4-3 to Crotone. Magellan in the 14th minute from Adam Unas. Hernani in the 29th to level it for Parma. Ceane getting a tap-in goal in the 42nd minute. Unas, who was very influential in this game, scoring before the break. So 3-1 to Crotone. Parma putting on a fight. Gervinho played in by Andreas Cornelius. It would be Cornelius' second assist of the game, but we only play that music when he scores goals, not when he gets assists. And then Valentin Mihaila making it 3-3 on 54 minutes. Very entertaining game, but this is Parma. This is a Parma that has dropped a lot of points. They would drop this 1 point. Penalty in the 69th minute, that man Simi scoring again, giving Crotone the 4-3 win. 27 shots combined between both teams in this game. Very open game.
Yeah. Does anybody else hate Sime's run up to the penalty kick? It drives me nuts every time he does it. I mean, it's successful. I mean, he gets 50 goals a year from from penalty spots like that. He
looks like he should miss every time he does.
Yes, and he scores every time, but it just drives me nuts. I'm like, run!
No kidding. Oh, goodness. All right. Sassuolo 1, Sampdoria 0. Audero masterclass for Sampdoria in goal. We gotta point that out. Consigli himself wasn't too bad. But 6 saves for Audero. Otherwise, Sassuolo could have walked this. They really dominated this game. And Domenico Berardi with a goal of the week candidate in the 69th minute. Overhead kick, just kind of a presence of mind thing from close range to see where the ball was and just to make that action, sending it home in this one. Sassuolo on some real run of form. Maybe certainly too little too late for Europe, but once again, they're turning on the style and they're on 52 points. So maybe don't say too little too late just yet. But they're creeping up, and they have, like I said, they've been in an excellent run of form.
You did say they would finish ahead of Roma. It's getting close.
It's getting close. I did. I said 7th. So we'll have to see. And then for those of you that did wake up early in the morning, you were in for a treat. You were in for all the Rodrigo de Paul you could handle. And Benevento has apparently decided they don't want to play football anymore, or calcio, or whatever you want to call it. 4-2 to Udinese. And it might not have been that close. Although I'll say this, Benevento had more possession. They actually outshot Udinese 21-9. Benevento's defense has just completely gone bye-bye.
Yeah.
And their prospects of staying in Serie A is probably going to go bye-bye too, because after today's results, they now find themselves in 18th. Goal of the week candidate in the 4th minute because of Rodrigo de Paul's pass that split just about everybody that was in the building and found Nahuel Molina in the 4th minute. Pereira finding Tolgai Arslan in the 31st to put Udinese up 2-0. Just 3 minutes later, a penalty for Benevento. Nicolas Viola scoring again on the penalty. 34th minute there. 2-1 to Udinese at halftime, but Rodrigo de Paul providing again in the 49th minute. This time for Jens Stryger Larsen. And then Jaden Braff, young talented striker for Udinese, got to come on, make an appearance, and score his first Serie A goal. Congratulations to him. Gianluca Lapadula sparing the blushes just a little bit for Pippo Inzaghi's men. I swear to God, there was a camera angle. There was a camera pan on Pippo Inzaghi. Honest to God, going into the game, I think Pippo Inzaghi's hair was totally black. Okay. And now they put the fucking camera angle on him and he is just gray hairs like crazy.
Yeah. I thought I would go gray before him and he beat me to the punch. So thank goodness for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, man, Benevento we talked about this last week, didn't we? We said, look, Cagliari have a real shot at getting out of this. They got too much talent to be in the bottom 3, and the team that you better worry about is Benevento. We said this exactly last week, and here we are. Benevento is in real trouble. They're not defending anything right now, and it may cost them from here on out. Here's their run-in. At Milan, hosting Cagliari on Sunday, May 9th. Oh, get ready for that one. At Atalanta, and then hosting Crotone, and then at Torino. I see maybe 4 points for them out of that run-in. If they've and clearly that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, I mean, most of the teams are actually playing fairly well. I mean, Milan is not, but, it's a much bigger club than they are. Atalanta just decimated someone today we'll get to. And Torino's playing a lot better. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to come by with some points. And, yeah, it's unfortunate because, one, the great story that Benevento was last season. They dominated Serie B. They come to the league this year. At one point, they were like 10th place, and they were looking good. But, yeah, they've completely gone on vacation way too early, and it's going to cost them a position in Serie A next season because Cagliari have just, like we said, have just enough talent to get by, and they proved that today. And so, yeah, it's unfortunate for them because Benevento plays some attractive football every now and then, and you like to see Pippo Inzaghi doing well with his club, but it's unfortunate too because if he goes to Serie B, does he get fired? You'd imagine yes, but he did such great things in Serie B. Do you give him another opportunity? I mean, yeah, it's a lot of questions for Benevento, and unfortunately their defense is nowhere to be seen.
If you're a Serie A owner and you are looking for a manager and you come across, let's say this is Pippo Inzaghi's resume, and he has expressed interest, here's what you should do. No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No,
wow.
Absolutely not. He hasn't done it at this level. He hasn't. He had Milan, albeit banter era Milan, and Berlusconi and Galliani gave him no help. But still, with the squad that he had, they shouldn't have finished 10th. And then what was it, Bologna?
Yeah, nearly got them relegated.
He was just begging to get sacked by the end of that tenure, and he did great to bring Benevento back up, but and he got them off to a really nice start, but his approach, his style, how he has his teams play, he seems to get found out each and every time, and his shelf life in Serie A with a club is painfully short. I mean, even if he manages a Serie B side next season and gets them promoted, and I'm the owner of that club, they said, hey, thanks for getting us up here, but this is as far as you go. I've seen how this looks, and I know where I'm going if I keep you. So that's just the shame of it, because we haven't seen anything different from people as a manager.
Yeah, I know, and it's funny how a month changes, because a month ago we were saying, oh, they're comfortable, they're doing well, but they've just played so poorly, and there's not stopping anybody. When all kinds of teams are scoring 4 goals against you, it's not a good thing. I mean, granted, Udinese put on like a little masterclass, counter masterclass against them, and they've been playing a lot better lately too. But yeah, it just does not. The optics do not look good. It just looks like people can't get out of Serie A. or can't keep his team in Serie. He got lucky that Bologna didn't get relegated because he got fired before the end of the season, right? So, yeah, it's I agree with you. If you're an owner looking at him and he's available, like, nah, I got to pass. I got to find somebody else.
Yep.
But yeah, it's unfortunate because I root for the guy. I do.
Yeah, I mean, he's red and black. Scored 2 big goals in the 2007 Champions League final. Scored a lot of goals for Milan in his time there. So as a player, I'll always revere him. Although he was strictly a goal scorer, he was nothing else as a footballer. I mean, even Johan Cruyff said it. He said, "Man, people in Inzaghi can't play football for shit, but man, he could score goals." I think he said that about him. Somebody told me that's what he said. But
paraphrasing.
Yeah, I'm paraphrasing. That's what I do. I don't read quotes directly unless I'm actually reading a script, and we go unscripted here. So, it's dire for Benevento. I'm going to call it. They're going down. I think they go down. I think they go down with Parma and Crotone. I think we officially sealed. Speaking of Parma, I think we officially sealed Parma's fate. Nope, they still have a mathematical chance of getting out. They would have to, they're going to have to win all of their games, which...
Do we blame the new American owner, or is this a problem that they had before him? It's, the problem is when they change managers. It clearly is.
See, I just don't even think I think it was still, they should have been sticking with D'Aversa all along. I think you knew exactly what you were getting into when you sacked him for Liverani. And apparently Parma's ownership didn't watch Liverani's Lecce sides. We love the Lecce boys we had on a few months back, but I mean, there was no defending, and D'Aversa's sides with Parma were relatively organized. So it's you go to a change of tactics, you go to some things that are flawed, and then all of a sudden you have to try to unscrew all of that, and it's really hard to do that. And Parma's running at Torino, Atalanta at home, at Lazio. No, they're down. Sassuolo at home, and then at Sampdoria. There's no way they're getting 15. It would be one of the epic miracles of all time if they won 5 straight out of that. So let's just say they're down. But Benevento, Parma, and Crotone are going to be your 3 relegated teams. Benevento sitting there in 18th, and I think they're going to be there to stay.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yep. Sassuolo. Maybe. 52. Roma's on 55. Lazio still have a couple of games in hand on 58. It's not over yet. And boy, this Sassuolo side is playing some pretty inspired ball of late. And, they beat Fiorentina. They won at Milan. They beat the Sampdoria side. The run-in. They host Atalanta. They're at Genoa. They host Juve. They're at Parma. They host Lazio. You could look at that running and say, man, that's daunting. But, Atalanta, Juve, and Lazio are not without their flaws, and they all got to go to the Mapei. I don't really rule out Sassuolo getting to 7th and getting ahead of Roma, as I predicted at the beginning of the season. I want to see it happen just because of that, Richard.
Yeah, I mean, and you also got to look at the flip side that Roma is playing equally as bad as Sassuolo are playing well at the moment, and they're giving away points, just giving away because whoever wants it. So, it's theirs to be taken, and we'll see how the stretch goes down here for those 2 teams here at the end. But it's not out of the realm. It's not out of the question. I mean, it's 3 points is nothing. You can make that up in a weekend. So, we'll see. It's going to be a must-see TV. It's too bad they don't play each other 7 more times. That would be a nice 7-game series I'd like to watch. But,
Yep.
I guess we can't have that.
No, we can't. And then Spezia are getting dragged into this relegation conversation all of a sudden. As highly rated as Vincenzo Italiano is as a manager, they're not... I mean, they've got 1 point in their last 3. They got 4 points in their last 5, of which the win came against bottom side Crotone. They play excellent football. They possess it well, but they're another team that if you can, once they're stretched and committed, and if you've got the right components to counter them, you can get at them. And that's what's been happening. But on 33 points, they're not safe. And the run-in for them is even difficult. At Verona, hosting Napoli, at Samp, hosting Torino, and then hosting Roma to finish it off. Are we concerned about Spezia being in this conversation at some point?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about last. Well, it's going to come down to Spezia or Benevento at this point, and who's gonna show some muster over here at the end. Over the other one. They both got difficult run-ins going here. Spezia has played the most consistently well, I guess, to say, of the two teams. Benevento's had some good games as well, but they've seemed to shut it off as well here in the last month or so. And you mentioned here what in the last 3 games they just really played really poor, and I don't know, man. It's unfortunate because we had such high hopes for all these promoted teams to do well this year, and they started well. Most of them started well, and looked like we are gonna have all like 3 Serie vets that were gonna go down, and then all of a sudden things are starting to turn around slowly and surely, and the 2 of the newer boys, Benevento and Lazio. Excuse me, Jerry, listening. Benevento and Spezia. They're starting to play like their relegation or their Serie B selves now, and teams are starting to take advantage of them. So, despite all the possession like this last game, like you mentioned, Genoa just found great ways to counter them, and they did so successfully. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't know who's going to be the team that's more likely to fall. Is it Spezia or Benevento? I'm going to give it to Vincenzo Italiano at the moment and say they got the slight edge over Benevento. If you're looking at managers, you probably take him over people at the moment. But yeah, who knows? It's difficult for both teams.
Sure. So I just think Torino and Cagliari are in too good a form right now, and Torino's got some games in hand to make up where I think they're going to work their way further up anyway. And I think that it's Benevento at 18th, and Benevento could be the team going down. And I think if there's another team that you could probably put in that conversation, it's going to be Spezia. And I ultimately, Spezia might be 15th right now, but I think it's going to come down to Benevento and Spezia for the remaining relegation place. And I ultimately think it'll be Benevento going down. I think Spezia will somehow figure out how to survive this.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where I'm going with the relegation talk.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
All right. Maybe we can flip it over to the other side of the table, Richard, with the games that you have for us.
Yeah, let's do that. First off, nice rivalry going here between Fiorentina and Juventus. Fiorentina hosting this one. We would get a penalty shout early in the game. Chiellini takes down Vlahovic. They did not see it as a penalty. I saw it as a penalty. But as football is, karma comes back and bites you. And there would be a penalty called on Rabiot in the box that Vlahovic would step up and score in the 29th minute. They would hold...
Panenka.
Yeah, Panenka, a nice little one too.
Goal of the weekend.
Absolutely. He took it with confidence in that one. He celebrated like it was a rivalry game. They took that lead into halftime. Pirlo made some substitutions, made some formation changes, and it worked immediately. Alvaro Morata stepped in the game, and within a minute of entering in halftime, did well to free himself up in the right hand side of the box. And a goal of the week, my goal of the week this week, with his curling shot past the keeper. I mean, wow, what an effort by Alvaro Morata. Stand up and take an applause there, boy. Great goal by him. The game went back and forth. They had some chances here and there. A similar opportunity later in the game that Ronaldo could have got a header for a backdoor goal for the winner. Misses that. But the game would end 1-1. So big points dropped by Juventus in this one and their bid to try to stay in the Champions League hunt. Moving on to the presumptive winners this year. Inter hosting Hellas, 2 teams that are known for their defensive style. You knew it was going to be a low-scoring game. This game certainly was that. They traded their chances back and forth. Inter, had the better of the quality opportunities in this one, but it took them a while, really, to get some a sniff at goal. Their only sniff at goal was in the 76th minute. It was that fullback to fullback situation, Hakimi to Darmian. Darmian puts away a goal, 1-0. That's all they would need. There was a controversial play that we'll get to here in a little bit at the end of the game where a goal was scored by Hellas, but then the goal was taken away. We'll get to that here in a second. Moving on, Cagliari hosting Roma. Big game for Cagliari. really trying to stave off relegation. They scored early in this one. Lico Janis in the 4th minute made it 1-0 there. Carlos Perez would equal it in the 27th. A nice goal by him. In the 57th minute, Marine, goal of the week candidate there. A lovely goal to make it 2-1. João Pedro then would follow that up in the 64th with a goal, make it 3-1. Fazio getting on the board just minutes after that to make it 3-2. But unfortunately for Roma, too little too late. That was not enough. Cagliari, big 3 points for them. With that win, it meant they leapfrog Benevento so that they get out of the relegation zone based on tiebreaker. So big 3 points for them. And then to close out my batch game that looked like it had the makings of being a close game. It was tough to score goals early for Atalanta. Malinovsky, goal of the week candidate. Luis Marial with a beautiful backheel assist to him to put that goal away. And then they didn't get another goal until they got a penalty in the 44th minute. Muriel would step up and take that. But, it looked like it was going to be a difficult game. And then coming out of the break, shouting with a nice red card. Atalanta are good enough. You don't need to give them a man advantage.
They don't need help.
They don't need help, and they took well advantage of this. Freuler in the 57th minute made a goal, made it 3-0. 2 minutes later, Zapata scored a goal, a powerful shot to go back there, 4-0. And then in Miranchuk to wrap it all up in the 73rd, 5-0. Atalanta destroyed a 10-man Bologna. It was it looked like old Atalanta, Frank. Let's start with that game. The goal scoring started out difficult it looked like a game that maybe Bologna and Mihailovic could find a way to stymie Atalanta, but Atalanta, they have so much talent, they just keep coming at you in waves, and that dam was eventually going to break, and going down a man does not help anything.
And it's kind of crazy because the red card happened early in the second half. And
yeah, it was like the 50th minute or something crazy like that.
Yeah, so the first half, the possession was a lot more balanced. So Bologna had a little bit of the ball, but it was just Atalanta were ruthless, going the other way. The first half stats, Atalanta outshot Bologna 18-4. First half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second half, the majority of it, they had a man advantage. They had 59% possession. 7 shots, 4 on target. Outshot him 7-4. So overall, 25 shots in this game, 25-8. Atalanta outscored Bologna with 10 shots on target. Had it not been for the goalkeeping in this game, Skorupski probably gets some bad marks for conceding 5, but he also made 5 saves. So this could have been a heck of a lot worse.
I'll tell you that penalty from Luis Marial, you rarely see a goalkeeper frozen on a penalty kick, and Skorupski had no chance of that. That was well taken by Luis Marial to end that first half. But yeah, like you said, it was the game was statistically looked kind of close in terms of possession, but yeah, Atalanta just they were ruthless, like you mentioned. They were wave after wave of attack. Papu Gomez, who?
Yeah, I was the couple of things that I had some frustrations with, and I understand you're playing. They played it midweek, and all this other stuff. But Bologna, to give themselves a chance, I think you got to start Orsolini over Skov Olsen. First and foremost, and play with that attacking quadrant that you have of Orsolini, Soriano, and I don't think Sansoni was. He available for this game? It doesn't look like he was. No, he wasn't. So that probably changed things. But even maybe starting Vignato. Mihailovic just butchered this team. He started Palacio and Barrow as a 2-man front. You have this Valentin Antov. What is he? Watching some of this game, I was trying to figure out what he was doing out there.
Mihailovic was too. He was like
chasing shadows, probably. And then scouting, getting the red card. It wasn't a good day for Matthias Svanberg. It was but we've somewhat seen this with Mihailovic a little bit sometimes when he gets Bologna traveling to play these big teams that he just all of a sudden changes things. Be what you're good at. So some of this Atalanta had handed to him. If we really, really deep dive, we can be in awe of Atalanta's performance because we should be. But, some of football is sometimes you just take what the opponent is given to you. And Mihailovic gave Atalanta a system that they could just shred, that has, that's not what Bologna has been from an identity standpoint. And I think that had quite a bit to do with it here. But I don't want to take away from Atalanta. They were unbelievably impressive, and a good team is going to take advantage of this. But I thought this was a tentative approach that Mihailovic took, and I see a lot of talent in that Bologna team where they shouldn't be having to do this.
No, I agree fully about that, and I think all that said, and then the red card added on top of that just made things a lot worse. What was your thoughts on the red card? Because initially when it first happened, I thought that was a harsh red.
Oh,
but I think the replay you saw the high foot on, I think it was near his knee or whatever, on Toloi, I believe it was. So I mean, I guess it's a red. Yeah, it's a red. I mean, I've seen stupider calls in the Premier League. This weekend.
Tonali had to go. Scouting has to go.
Yeah. I mean, we've said it many times, right? You take out a player, that you should be gone.
And I can't remember who said it on Twitter. Apparently, a boot to the face only gets you a yellow because Milinkovic-Savic got away with that. So did Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's what it is.
Sure.
If you give him a boot to the leg, if you give him a high boot to the leg, you're done.
You decapitate someone, you're good.
They value legs more than faces, I guess, in Serie. So
you can't score with your face. Oh wait, you can. Never mind.
You can. You can score own goals with your face too. I've seen it before.
That's true. Let's see. Moving on to Cagliari Roma. Big game for Cagliari. They really needed this. I thought Roma should have been able to easily, take on Cagliari and beat them. But, Cagliari is what they're doing with a team that's trying to survive, supposed to do, fight. And from the beginning of the match, 4 minutes in, Lykogiannis getting the goal. You saw their intent early. It's like, we're here to win. We need to survive. And they look like a team that was hungry to stay in Serie A. And I think they fully deserve this match. What were your thoughts on their performance of this one? I mean, part of it is giving them compliments for obviously winning, but then also part of it is also Roma shit in the bed, right? It's just which angle do you want to look at it from?
Starting Fazio. That was the sure sign that Cagliari had a great chance. I wish I knew this. I was in the middle of my coaching. I wish I'd saw these lineups, and I don't have. There's no sports book in Wisconsin. The second I would have seen Fazio in the lineup, I would have put money down on Cagliari. I don't know what their odds were.
Jerry says Roma sucks.
Of course he does.
He's right though.
I can take victory laps on Razvan Marin. We've been touting him a lot. So here on Serie A,
goal and assist in this one, right?
Yeah, great
goal of the week candidate. Yeah.
Yep. Great goal too, and I thought the assist was excellent. And I think what's the take that we gave? I mean, we said, we will be talking about Razvan Marin the way we currently talk about Rodrigo De Paul, which we didn't talk a whole lot about earlier, but. But then Rodrigo De Paul goes and does what he did against Benevento today. So I think that Marin is not to De Paul's level yet, but I think he has the talent in his locker to get there.
Sure.
I've always said that about them. I've been saying that about him for weeks on this podcast now. So good to see that he had a performance that backs that up. Yeah, great overall team performance.
Vicario had a good game too.
Yeah,
the goalkeeper for Cagliari. It's not that Roma didn't have any shots; they had 7 shots on target, but he played well. So I mean, it was a great team effort, I think, and good for them. I mean, we said it would be a travesty, if Cagliari are relegated because it's just where they play and it's the talent that they have. They shouldn't be in a relegation talk, and at least now they're out of the relegation zone for now. So yeah, good for them.
At Napoli, at Benevento, hosting Fiorentina, at Milan, hosting Genoa. So what did we say about Benevento? Maybe 4 points tops from them from here on out?
Maybe.
I can see 6 for Cagliari, at least.
Yeah.
I think they'll beat Benevento. I think that that game, that's going to be one of the most important games in May in Serie A. I mean, we don't have some of these top 4 battles. There's going to be a lot of them, but this Benevento Cagliari game is
relegation 6-pointer.
Yeah, it's if you're a neutral, watch it. So yeah, definitely watch it.
I mean, Crotone Parma ended up being a really great matchup, right? 4-3. I don't know if it's great, but it's great. Nice in the goal scoring department. 4-3. So what this is, you would imagine be just as much excitement. Maybe not the amount of the goals, but just the amount of excitement. So
there's going to be so much on the line in that game. So.
Jerry says he hopes Roma misses out in European competition, and they look like they're gonna miss out at this point. It's difficult, but they're not playing well at all. And Jerry, to answer your question, I picked Atalanta to finish second. I still think they'll finish second.
Well, they're in second now, so we'll see. I do think that Napoli, and I said this on Friday as well on Alex's show, I think Napoli are snatching a top 4 place. I just have been racking my brain over at whose expense it's going to be at.
That's the hard part.
The logic would say Milan because of Milan's fixture run-in. It is brutal.
And their form.
Yeah, and their form isn't great. At Lazio, at Juve, at Torino, and at Atalanta are among those games, and then their home games are Cagliari and Benevento. So Milan will have a say in this Milan's going to have a say in this relegation fight just as much as they could have a say in whether or not they're going to be top 4. So
yeah,
it's interesting. Milan's going to be a very important team, as far as the rest of the season is concerned and how things play out.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think Napoli look like they're going to make Champions League, and the question is, it's going to be Juve or is it going to be Milan? And unfortunately, it's got.
I still wouldn't rule out Atalanta.
You think so?
I still think the defending there is flawed.
I think they're going to lock up second place. I feel they're going to pull away with that. Watch. That's just my gut. I
anticipate. I think that Atalanta probably are going to be the safest out of Milan, Juve, and Atalanta. I don't think. The defending worries me, but I still think Bologna took a real chicken shit approach to this game. I don't, and again, I'm trying to do that without taking anything away from Atalanta's performance today, because you have to, if that's how they approach you, they're basically there for the taking. You got to go and take them, and that's what Atalanta did. But with what Bologna has available to them, I certainly expected a heck of a lot better.
For sure.
So it's what it is. So I'm not totally there yet, but.
Michael Lisi in the house. Hey, what's up, Mike?
Mike, good to see you, man. Michael, what did you think of? I would love to hear your thoughts on the challenge between Faraoni and Handanovic from the Inter Verona game. If you caught that, if that was a good call, or if that was if that goal should have stood. So I will wait to hear from that. I mean, you and I are in agreement. I mean, it's kind of a sketch. You go first. What did you think?
Sorry, what were we talking about? I was looking at Jerry's commentary.
Inter Hellas Verona.
Yeah, so that play. So my thoughts on this goal, and the ultimate play was a no goal. So what it was is the play was going up, and I think it was off a set piece, a corner kick or something. Ball's going into Handanovic. He, in my opinion, lazily goes up for it, makes no real attempt to go after it. Faraoni, to his credit, is going for the ball, because why not? You're trying to score a goal. It hits off his shoulder, hits off of Handanovic's hands and goes in the goal. They call it a interfering with the goalkeeper, and the goal doesn't count. And I thought that was a soft call. I thought Inter got away with it. They played well enough that you'll get a nice bounce. It's fine. I'm fine with that. But I mean, I thought it should have been a goal for Hellas. It's not going to affect the championship here by any stretch, but I thought there was too much clashing between Faraoni and Handanovic, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah, at some point.
So even Lisi's saying, he's like, yeah, I wanted to see Handanovic reach out for the ball and take it away. He just stands there and does nothing. I agree. He just lets the ball fall to him, and Faraoni jumps up because he's trying to go for a goal. And
yeah, it's hard because I think referees give goalkeepers the benefit of the doubt more often than not.
Absolutely, and they're
trying, and I think that they're protected because of the things that go on in the penalty area in those situations. So
unless it's people kicking you in the face.
Jerry is arguing that it's no goal. I think I honestly think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation.
And I will not check Uncle Sharma's account.
No. No. Michael thinks it's a goal. How do you just stand there? Go get it, and and far does one straight up? That's fair. Okay, Michael, thank you very much. And I'll go, and I respect Michael's judgment as a referee. So that's.
I mean, ultimately, it's a non-issue, right? Because it doesn't affect anybody in the stadiums or anything like that. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I'm just saying, had this been a bigger game, it could have been a major controversy. But it wasn't. It's something I saw and I noticed. Just like I thought Vlahovic was taken down by Chiellini in the Fiorentina matchup, and that was a non-call there. So I don't know. This happens a million times in the games, and it's just something that happened at the very end that could have made it 1-1, and ultimately it matters for nothing.
And Michael, help me with this, okay? Because here's what I think. My belief is that if you're going up, okay, you have the right to try to make your frame a little bit bigger with your arms, hands down and your arms just out a little bit, okay? But fingertips facing down, that kind of thing. As long as none of that extends and makes contact. But you're allowed to give yourself maybe a bubble is probably a good way to put it, but you're allowed to make yourself bigger. You're allowed to make your frame bigger in certain situations, as long as you're not shoving off. That you should be okay. I mean, that's the way I understand it. That's the way I've understood it for years. And I don't, referees I've talked to around here, don't never seem to have a problem with that. It's how I'm training my son to play when he's a forward. He's just like, okay, you can jump and you can have your arms out, but you can't have like your forearms out. You can't have your hands out as if you're pushing off or gaining an advantage that way.
So I watched the video on Uncle Sharma's account just now. Thanks, Jerry, for the tip on that. So you do see Faraoni's makes contact with Handanovic's hand just before the ball, just before it hits his shoulder and hits Handanovic. Still, I think it's a weak call. Ultimately, he does make contact, and like you mentioned, Frank, they do lean on towards a goaltender in this situation because they're trying to protect him. So I get that, but just like I still think it's a weak call to like what Lisi says, that you should stick your hands out and go for it. Don't just ball comes to me, I'm gonna let it drop, because that's the weak way out. But whatever.
Yep. Well, Michael agrees with me. So
that's a rare change. Yeah. Just kidding. Usually he doesn't disagrees with me. So
someone agrees with me.
Well, that too.
It's about damn time. Salute.
Oh, that's awesome.
Been married for 13 years, and in that span, this is the first time anyone's ever agreed with me.
There you go. Before we wrap this up, Fiorentina Juventus, thoughts on Pirlo having the balls to make a change at halftime, taking out Kulusevski, and I forget who the other person was, bringing on Morata. It seemed to be the right call, because as soon as Morata came in, scored that big goal, and shifted to that 4-2-3-1 formation. What are your thoughts on how the moves that he made, I guess, at halftime, that ultimately got them the points, some points?
Boy, Fiorentina could have won. Fiorentina should have won this game.
They played well. They did play well. Pulgar had a great opportunity early in the game that I think Szczesny made a great save. Yeah. So they played well.
Or as Dave Barrett says, Szczesny.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
Schenectady.
Dave Barrett's really, really good. I actually like his commentary, but some of his name pronunciation. Let's go through this. Szczesny. Okay. Ray bitch. That's the one I chuckle at the most. It's just nuts, but but he's really, really good. We can't get Peter Drury or Martin Tyler, so we get Dave Barrett. And I actually think, when he seems to get the big games, and I think he does a really good job. But man, some of the pronunciations are just, thank God that we're past Insigne with these guys. I think they're all pronouncing it right now, aren't they?
I hope. I hope.
Oh my! I thought I'd point that out. All right, Morata, the adjustment. I don't understand why they just don't play that from the start. I mean, what are you going to do with a midfield of Rabiot, Bentancur, and Ramsey?
Well,
Why don't you Rabiot and Bentancur side by side, play Dybala as a 10, and get Morata up there with Ronaldo?
Dybala is one of the guys that came off at halftime. That's what it was.
Or Ramsey in the 10 and Morata up front with Ronaldo. Either way, do that from the start. So, and put some pressure on this. Put some pressure on this back three.
Maybe he's going for the Gasperini vibes, where he just throws out random things that what you least expect, which makes no sense.
Yeah, but he got himself out of there. So it's it's what it is. I actually think that Juve's lucky to get out of here with a point. I mean, they dominated the possession of this game, but Fiorentina was very, very good going the other way. Vlahovic scoring a Panenka does not change my opinion about his immediate future. I think he should stay at Fiorentina.
Yep.
I think he should continue to develop. I think he should get elite in the areas that he's got the chance to be elite at. I think going to a bigger club at this stage is going to be a little bit too premature. And I know that there are going to be a lot of people that, because I see some of the fan base Twitter accounts, they're dying to get him. And they're not going to like what I have to say, but it's like, we've been down this road way too many times with young strikers that we're trying to pretend can be maybe a poor man's Erling Haaland or somebody like that, and it never pans out. And maybe he gives you a good spell of form over a batch of weeks, but then after that, he's crap. I mean, we've seen that happen way more often than we've seen the opposite.
No, it's true, and so it's better to be careful, treat them with kid gloves, and give them opportunity to really grow into their position, and then make the snatch.
With you on that. Oh, mercy. So, 2 big games tomorrow. Or do you want to do goals of the week first? Let's knock out goals of the week.
All right, let's do that.
I mean, it's in progress with 2 other games remaining, but
you know what? Let's do it. Let's change it up because there were a lot of games in the midweek. So I'm gonna give you the top 5 of the midweek, and you do the top 5 this week. How about that?
Okay, that sounds good. You can do that. You love throwing in those midweek.
I do, and there were a lot of great goals, especially in that Lazio game. Sorry, Jerry, you might want to mute this part here out. Coming at number 5 for me from the midweek, Immobile's curler, actually. Great goal by him. Coming number 4, we're sticking with Lazio. It's Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, his free kick, wonderful goal past Meret. Meret got a hand on it, but not enough. But now Jerry can turn it off. Coming at number 3, Mertens with the upper 90, a wonderful goal there. Follow that up, number 2, Insigne's second versus Lazio, the beautiful chip over the goalkeeper. Wonderfully well done. Anyway, and coming number 1, Jerry, you can turn it back on now. This is actually a different game from the Lazio Napoli matchup. This is Mandragora with his beautiful volley against Bologna. I mean, wonderfully done. I mean, power on that volley there. But that's my top 5 from the midweek.
Awesome. I only have a top 4. There are 4 goals that I really, really like, and I couldn't find a 5th. So number 4, I'm going to go with Berardi's overhead. In the win over Sampdoria. It was from close range, but the presence of mind to see where the ball is and that was a quick decision for him to do that was well executed. Number 3, I'm going to go with Molina's goal, mainly because of the pass from Rodrigo de Paul.
100%. 100%.
Just absolutely just split everybody. Number 2, I'm going with the Vlahovic Panenka. Just gutsy for a young striker like that to do, but was beautiful to see. And then my goal of the week is your goal of the week, Morata's curler to level the scoring for Juve, 1-1. So maybe number 5 is open for the 2 games tomorrow.
I like that's true, and also I like Eldor's goal against.
Okay.
He scored today, but yeah, there'll be some goals next tomorrow, I should say. So yeah,
sure. All right, so those are the goals of the week from us. Tomorrow, we have 2 big games, that'll shape the top 4 landscape that will have a little bit to do with the top 4. Napoli in just very impressive form now. Not much else to say. Aggressively pushing for a top 4 finish. You and I think they're going to finish top 4 at the rate that they're going. But a tricky trip here to a Torino that themselves are in very good form. Unbeaten in 4 straight under Davide Nicola. Looks like they're starting to get it back together again. A 1-1 draw at Bologna, the Mandragora goal that you talked about, beating Roma, beating Udinese, getting the draw against Juventus in the derby. They've started to put it together and started to get the trajectory going to get themselves out of this trouble. This is not a done deal for Napoli, in my opinion. How do you anticipate this going?
I think you're right. There's 2 teams that are playing well at the moment. Napoli should not overlook Torino by any stretch because they've been playing very, very well on both ends of the pitch. They've found ways to get goals, unlikely goals, a teamwork between Sanabria, Belotti, and even Zaza in there and some others. It's really starting to find some magic here towards the end of the season, and they need it because they're trying not to get relegated themselves. Right, they're on 31 points at the moment, so they need all the points they can get. It's going to be difficult. I mean, we know a lot. We know. I keep saying Lazio. Freaking Jerry's in my head now. Apparently, Napoli, they play freaking amazing football.
And he's not even paying rent.
He's not paying a rent. He should. Yeah, Napoli is just they played so well at the moment. They're scoring for fun, and Ceane looks like he's got his swagger back. Meriton's is scoring goals again, and Osimhen's is still contributing as well. He's got the 5th goal in the game against Lazio. So yeah, Napoli is doing really great things, and I think in this one, considering that Davide Nicola is the manager, you're going to assume it's going to be tighter than a 5-2 scoreline, right? You think it's going to be much closer, and I think what we're going to see is that 2 teams, it's going to be very close because, both are playing in fine form at the moment. I think Napoli's talent is just going to be that much more than what Torino has to offer, and I think it'll be a close 2-1 victory for Napoli, but I can see chances go both ways. I honestly do. I mean, obviously Napoli are going to get theirs, but don't discount Torino. They got the talent. They've been playing very well. They're confident. They can, and they're at home. So those things there will make them a very dangerous team. But I think Napoli just do enough to get past Torino here in this one.
I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going for 1-1 here. And I don't think either team are going to be bothered by it. Maybe even 2-2 when you consider the attacking talent on display. Belotti is starting to come around. He just needs the goals to go with it. Antonio Sanabria has been a revelation for Torino since coming on board. And then I look at, Napoli can do one of 2 things. They can go with Dries Mertens up front in that false 9. They could go with Osimhen. They've got some flexibility there. I think that I see Belotti getting canceled out by Koulibaly. But I see Sanabria. I see Verdi probably being able to do some things. You get some work from the midfield. I think that they can snatch a goal here and keep this competitive. But I think it's going to be a draw. I think in this run, I think that defensively, Torino has made some improvements. They're not leak-proof by any stretch of the imagination, but they have the talent back there. Sirigu, it's been a dreadful season for him altogether, but recently it looks like it's been a little bit better for him. The back 3 of Izzo and Kolu and Bremer is definitely got the ability to be able to diffuse what Napoli's doing. I'll go 1-1 here.
Okay.
I think there'll be chances. I think both goalkeepers are going to play really well in this game. They're going to be called on to make some saves. I don't think this is going to be and in the grand scheme of things, neither side are really going to be bothered by a point here. Napoli are going to look at this and say, hey, we went away to a team that's in form, got a point, further boosted our chances for top 4. Torino's going to say, hey, we got a point. We're a point ahead of Benevento now. We've still got another game in hand. So,
and Maret started the last game against Lazio, so you would imagine Ospina would probably start to win this one.
Sure. So that you can definitely expect. So I'm going to go 1-1 draw there. I think that's what we're looking at, and I don't think either team's going to be bothered by it. So Lazio and Milan. For me, for Lazio, this is last chance saloon for top 4 for them. But if they win, they are right in this with everybody else. Milan, if they win, they're back in second. Depending on what happens in that Napoli game, they give themselves a much needed cushion. If we're saying 1-1 and Milan win against Lazio, Milan will have a 5-point edge over 5th, which they would relish.
Absolutely. At this point, absolutely.
We saw this be a thriller in the reverse fixture, Milan winning 3-2. What do you think this time around?
Oh my goodness. I don't like the form of either team. Especially don't like the way Milan is playing at the moment. That's what's worrying me. This whole stretch here now. Can Pioli and Zlatan and the team figure it out? And Chiara as well, right? Can the dominating presence in the locker rooms, can they figure a way to end this skid? And the team you don't want to see is Lazio. They got, while they may be struggling themselves, they got some goal scorers on their team. Obviously, Immobile is the pure scorer there, and you got SMS. You got they got so much talent on their team, and there's so many goal scoring opportunists on this team. So the goals are there. That obviously the issue is defensively, like Milan. So I'm gonna go. Everything in my head tells me it's gonna be draw, and I'm gonna go 2-2. I think there's gonna be goals in this one just because the defenses are poor. Milan seems to be giving up goals lately, and obviously we saw this past midweek Lazio are as well. So I see a draw in this one. I mean, both teams want to win. They definitely do. Lazio, especially if they want to try to get that top 4. I think it's just out of their reach. But 2-2. That's the way I'm gonna go here.
Some of this is going to be me being a homer, but I'll weigh in with I'll weigh in with what I think. What I said. I said on Alex's show on Friday. This Milan under Stefano Pioli, just when you're ready to think the worst of them, Pioli comes up with something, and Milan somehow come through.
It's true.
Let's look at that Sassuolo game. Milan had 7 bad minutes against Sassuolo. Now, does that all of a sudden mean they're in bad form? They beat Genoa, they beat Parma, they drew Sampdoria, and all that. That was a fight. Beat a decent Fiorentina team. Ask Juventus how hard it was to get a point off of them. So let me make the case for Milan maybe not being as bad as form as everybody else is saying. They had 7 minutes against Sassuolo where they just completely lost all concentration and gave away 2 goals to Raspadori, and ended up losing the match. Lazio, what's going on with this team defensively all of a sudden in the last 2 games? Conceding 5 to Napoli, conceding 3 to Benevento. They held Hellas Verona at bay when they played them. What kind of Lazio are we going to get tomorrow? Are we going to get a team that's going to be organized, be able to, keep Milan out and force some things, or are we going to get this all of a sudden this loose defending? So that's something that has to be concerning. This is going to be a great game. I mean, I think that there's a lot to play for. Lazio are going to be desperate tomorrow. I think they're going to come out and play like a desperate team. Milan are going to play. I think Milan are going to come out and play like they're trying to protect something, because in general they are. They're in third. And in the end, I think Milan. I'm going to go with this. Pioli's in a corner again, and he's going to pull something. He's going to pull something out here. And this Milan team is going to pull something out. Every single time this has happened, we think the worst of Milan. We said, oh boy, here we go again. And they get a result that all of a sudden makes you exhale. And I think that's what we're going to get here. Don't tell me how it's going to happen. It's going to be a 2-1 win for Milan. The goals are going to be odd. All right. There's not going to be, it's going to come from something one. It's not going to be, I don't think there's going to be goals that are going to come from something that was created, probably a set piece or a penalty here or there, but something really, really odd. And that's how I see this game playing out. And I think Milan get the 3 points. Is some of that homerish? Fine. if you want to say that, but it puts them in a comfortable spot, puts them back in second, and really, really ends any hope Lazio would have for top 4.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the last statement for sure. Is that's a last chance? Last chance Lazio are going to have to make top 4, and they're not going to get it. But it's going to be a tough game. A lot of opportunities, lots of chances both ways. So stay tuned. Immobile is going to get his. So.
All right. Maybe Roma is just sandbagging all of this.
For United?
And they're going to turn out a masterclass against Man United. What do you think?
That would be something, huh? Yeah, they were minutes away, we thought, maybe from going automatically to the finals against whoever. But, no, they got to play that semifinal against United. And maybe they have the potential to play well. We know this. If they're going to play the way they did against Ajax, where they give them all the possession and try to play in the counter, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Man United's going to have the ball a ton on Thursday. Bruno Fernandes.
But we're talking like 75-28 or 25 or whatever it was, something ridiculous against Ajax.
It's going to be very similar. Bruno Fernandes will probably have, if he I'm assuming he's going to play in this game. He's going to take 8 to 10 shots. He's going to have about 15 crosses from corners or for otherwise. I mean, he's just going to rack up all of these peripheral statistics. Man United's going to have just boatloads of possession here. Roma's real objective is getting an away goal. And can they get it? Against a Man United team that under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has defended really well. Okay. Ajax was a little bit easier because you were dealing with a Dutch under-21 goalkeeper. In Man United, you're dealing with David De Gea, who at one point was considered one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He can't get a Premier League game now, but they have been using him on Europa League duty. They've been using Dean Henderson in the Premier League games. So I think Man United win 2-1. I think that Roma will put up a heck of a fight. I think they'll find a way to get an away goal, but and make this interesting when it gets back to the Olimpico. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Man United to open things up.
Okay. I know a lot of the Roma fans have been hating on me because I've been saying that they've been playing like shit in Europa League, and they have been. But I'm gonna give them a bone in this one. I'm gonna say I think United, they're more susceptible at home than they are on the road. On the road, they've been a fantastic team. They're on some huge run, I think, of wins in a row or something like that. I mean, they beat Milan on the road. I think it's 1-1. I think they're going to get their away goal. It's going to be shithouse for sure, but I think they're going to get a goal. They're going to find a way, get an opportunity, and either it's Mayoral or Dzeko, whoever's going to come in and get the sneak attack goal and walk away 1-1 somehow and shithouse their way to a slight advantage going into the second leg. So we'll see. Hopefully they're sandbagging in the league just so they can play well against United and surprise them. Maybe throw some false tactics when they try to study them. Who knows? But I think it's going to be certainly one-way traffic for the most part. Yep.
A lot of possession. Expect a lot of possession from Man United. Expect Roma, to get out on the break, and you'll see a contrast of styles in that game, and it might be pretty fascinating. So we'll have to see from there. So, all right, let's round this out with a little fun, Richard.
Yeah, let's do Who on Calcio Twitter here. Let's maybe I should share the screen, huh? How about that?
Yep. We go back. Here. Let's just go back. I don't know if you're starting off with my tweet.
Presidente from. Yep. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, so you aren't forgetting me. Good.
I'm not forgetting you this time.
All right. Well, Presidente, thank you for the nomination. As you know, employees of Serie Sitdown are not eligible to win. But I said this last week on the pod. I said Inter, Milan, and Juve are going to leave Serie A, and Roma still won't win anything. So.
That's funny.
Just give them a little water for their tree.
That's right. All right, moving on to this one. It is at ACMDUIVEL, and it's Super League with the theme of Friends. Superlega.
Hang on a second. I'm just loading this up. Oh, nice.
This is actually really well done. If you get a chance, definitely listen in or watch the whole video. It's very well done, actually. But this is very well done. It's nominated by again ACM Duvel. Excuse me.
Oh, and it's even got the font for the
yes, it's at everything. It's everything.
Well played, Duvel.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So at AC, that's the leader in the clubhouse, I think, right now.
Absolutely.
Okay. So at Mario Sweatshirt, at Juve fans, if Inter are stripped of the Scudetto this season, should they still say they won 19? They would know the answer to that, wouldn't they?
That's right. That's right. All right, next one comes from nominated to us by at Milanista_TO, but it's actually from at Matrix190890. So the original tweet was from Madrid Zone, said the Super League clubs have decided to transfer the UCL trophies over to the Super League. Real Madrid will start with 13 Super League championships, and he writes in, so can we still say Juventus lost 7 Super League Super League finals?
That's great.
That's good.
That's great. Well played. Well played. Oh, that's got a shot.
Yep.
That's got a shot. All right. A repeat offender at Saturnian96. Maldini when Raiola keeps staring at him knowing the club got a new 350 million check. Assuming that's euros, but yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Oh, this one's from Brian Dunseth. He says, Agnelli.
Yeah.
All clubs, everyone's leaving the Super League. He's like, hey, where's everybody?
Yep. Brian Dunseth from Counterattack on Sirius XMFC.
That's right. That's
getting a nomination. Good stuff. All right, so let's move up to the next one. Let's see. At Barca Center, Agnelli has resigned from Juventus. There is immense pressure on Florentino Perez too.
This is more. I nominated this because it was just funny because everybody's leaving. Everyone's getting fired and. This is not real Who Won Calciatore. This is me just having fun with that. This is the day when everything was blowing up. So,
although at Tom_FC, well, this is Barcelona. Our year in bottling nights in UCL continues. So,
yeah, I see that. That's a good one.
Stuff. All right, so yeah, okay, so that was just worth a mention.
There you go.
Okay, at Enia. Eniac Quattro, or Stop Heidi. Il mondo del calcio in fiamme. The world of football in flames, and there's ADL.
Sleeping nice.
De Laurentiis. Not bothered by it.
Nope.
Carry on, everybody.
Carry on. All right, this is one that you nominated. This is from at Ryan Bailey. Says, who did it best, Fry Festival or European Super League? Both were short. I think Super League did it better. There were 2 days.
Both were hilarious, and those involved got what they deserved.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, douchebag
culture or non-football people trying to make decisions for the rest of us.
Yep.
So.
All right.
Wonderful.
All right, so this one,
man.
This me or you?
You go ahead. You take it.
Oh, okay. This one is nominated to us. This is actually Carlo Garganese. He says, even Agnelli's Juventus lasted longer in Europe than his Super League. 2 days and already dumped. Nice.
Another one, Imperatore MCM. Let's see here. Okay, Man City pulls out of Super League. This thing is crumbling faster than Roma Scudetto hopes in October.
Oh, man.
I love the reply from Ado_Shea Critical damage 200%.
Finish him.
Love it. A little Mortal Kombat. Nothing wrong with that, right?
That's right. All right, Buffonissimo 2001 nominated Art Morelli in this one. Adam Levine, the nice jersey, and then Tancredi Palmieri.
Well played.
Oh,
Mr.
nice.
Morelli he never lets us down.
He never does.
Never lets us down. All right, so Sabrina wanted to nominate you.
Yes.
Sabrina, nominations are welcome, but all right, so and Ronaldo free kick goal map for Juventus.
So the original tweet was from Marius Fisher. It says, all Lionel goal, Messi, free kick goals for Barcelona. And then so I replied, and all Ronaldo's.
Richard made a ha-ha.
That's right.
Well done. That's pretty creative. Nicely done, man.
All right. Next one comes from at Blutgreitsche. So it's a BLUTGRAETSCHE and says, here we go. A new meme. Who dis? So Milan, great start. Top 4 will be easy this year. Scudetto season. And then, enough of these ballhead men. We return to the Pantera days. Inter fans are like, if all games are like this, then I won't survive the season. Then midway through the season, they're like, Conte and Handanovic suck. And now they're like, we're simply too good. Juventus, give Pirlo time. And then in the middle of the season, Scudetto charges on. And then now, damn, we suck. And then Roma, we're just here. We're just here, isn't it?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Blutgreitsche.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. That's up there. That's up there. Putting in the time. Let's see. Rafa replied.
That's the same. That's our early one.
Yep. Okay. Everybody caught that one and sent it our way. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
All right. So moving on. At Gio Rossonero is nominating Cosimo. At Cosimo FCJ. You took everything from me. I don't even know who you are. That's good.
Oh, that's great. All right. Next one comes from at Braycraw. Says Handanovic when he gets his paws on the Serie A trophy, dropping like Rafa Benitez.
Dropping that FA Cup. This is worth a mention. This is an older tweet, but it got recirculated, and I thought it was worth sharing, and I just died when I read it. This is from at Der Ubermensch 2 or at Der Ubermensch 2 if you want to.
There you go.
Just asked a Swiss dude what he thinks about Ricardo Rodriguez, and he said he never saw a bigger piece of shit in his life. And then you got Saturnian replying, and then what did he say about Rodriguez?
Very good. Very
that
good.
got circulated around from at finally Kais. Thank you for that. That was well done.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
We're gonna do these. We're really gonna do these.
We are. So Jerry Mancini says, seems like Juve literally shit their pants today.
I think I made him shit himself.
Poor Delict. There's another one, wasn't there?
That's dumps. Is that like dump sweat or like some kind of seepage?
Duck butter.
God damn it.
Someone told me that once. I never really forgot it.
I've never heard of it called that.
No, you have.
Duck butter. I can't take my kids to feed the ducks again now at the pond.
Give him some duck butter. On this duck butter theme, at _FCIM says Delict literally shit himself on the pitch and bottling top 4 while Bastoni is busy helping Inter win the Scudetto and washes his ass. Poor Delict. Poor Delict.
And that's why white shorts are a bad idea.
Yes.
All right. Sansone made an appearance.
He did.
Forgot that Parma just got bought by some American billionaire. What a return on investment.
And relegated for their efforts, right?
but we've seen better from Napoli Sansone.
That's true.
But he makes it every week. So I saw this one from at Uncle Drew SC. Milan fans celebrating being first place in December. It's the video game, and the Chelsea guys are lifting nothing.
Nothing. Oh, that's so true. It's so true. All right, let's see. Saturnian back in this. It says, me taking out my brother first before he could celebrate his Scudetto.
And why not Chris Benoit, right?
That's right.
All right, at _FCIM, rise and fall of Florentino Perez. It's the statue of Saddam Hussein.
What we got here? So we got, this is at Inter is in my soul. It says Fiorentina versus other teams. And then Fiorentina versus Juventus and Real Madrid.
That's a good one. That's
yeah.
a good one.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
good.
Let's see. And then finally, at Alex Dono, better than Morici.
Middle finger. Oh, Alex. Great Photoshop skills.
Yeah, I'd say. I think he's got the head size right.
Oh.
In terms proportionate to the body. So, all right.
I like that. Added the middle finger there.
Good week for Who Won Calcio Twitter. Well played, everybody. We got to pick a winner out of this, though.
That's hard. I'm still laughing at the duck butter. That a lot of good ones. I'm gonna go with. Yeah, I don't know. What do you got?
I'm looking. I think that Blutgrätsche. It's down to Blutgrätsche. Uncle Drew SC. I'm narrowing it down. Let's see here.
I like the Galacticos one. Don Tico Interlover.
Yep, Don Tico Interlover.
Yep.
And where was the one we were at the bottom? ACM Doivel.
Oh yeah.
The Super League. I think it's down to those four. That's where I would. That's what I would pick from. What do you think?
I go with recent memory because I'm already forgetting the one, so I'm gonna go with Don Tico Interlover.
Oh, you're going with that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So just another Twitter account winning. It's not that, and I don't want to deny them that if they're
winning the season, why not?
Deserve to win. So, I mean, I've got to go. I love the creativity from at ACM Doivel with the Superliga video.
Yeah, the Friends video that was really good. That was good.
I think that's pretty creative. Let's see here. That's good. Man, let's go with that. Let's go with the Don Tico lover.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Just because it's so true.
At Inter is in my soul. You win Calcio Twitter this week very, very narrowly. Let's see.
Barely beat me.
Yep, barely beat it, Richard. Barely beating ACM Doivel. So congratulations. I think this is another first time. This is another guy that's doing like a first time entry and winning.
Inter's taking all the trophies this year, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess it's their year.
Tweet of the year might be all Inter fans here. I don't think so. So while you're doing that, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, like, subscribe, leave comments. That'd be much appreciated. And also, if you haven't done so yet, follow our other accounts on, Instagram, Facebook, obviously Twitter, where we're most active. But yeah, definitely, any support you can give us is to be much appreciated. And as always, feel free to go over to Hardcore Italians. They put out some great merchandise, and use our code AT15 to get 15% off on your purchase. So make use of that.
Yep, excellent stuff. We'll put a bow on this edition of Serie Sit Down. Richard, anything else you want to shamelessly plug?
Yeah, I was on Scott Monroe's podcast, first guest on his new podcast recently. Chat with Scott. I think he's still working, fine-tuning the name. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We talked a lot of calcio, a lot of Roma, a lot of good old times. So yeah, definitely give that a follow. And then also I was on the Calcio Connection last weekend or Friday or something like that, Thursday or Friday, with Jerry and Alex and a big group of guys. It was a lot of fun. We laughed a lot. Heard Jerry's time was back. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, check those two out. And then as always, follow me, R_KHARMAN.
Yep, excellent. I'm at FTC_21. Want to give shout outs to Calcio Connection. Also to Scott Monroe. Good luck. Hope you get things up and running and things go well with your new pod. That's what Richard and Scott do well. They do podcasts without me around.
It's what we do.
It's you do it here with that. Whenever I miss, Scott I seem to miss the ones that Scott does. Although I did one with him, so
there you go.
So we're okay. Shout out to the Calcio Connection. Shout out to Milan Weekly Podcast. Shout out to Far From Vesuvius, the Calcio guys, for jumping in. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
The Italian football podcast. Shout out to you guys as well. Great stuff as always. Everybody else that we have a chance to interact with. Just want to give some mentions to some other good people out there. If you like our opinions, but you want to hear some other opinions and get some different takes on what's going on in Calcio, those are all excellent places to go. So, and I'm leaving some other ones out, and I apologize. Lazio Lounge.
We are not experts, nor do we pretend to be. Shout out to Milan Weekly Podcast there.
I did do that shout out.
Okay,
shout
good.
out to them. Yeah, I let them know. Stevie didn't come on board tonight. He's watching the Oscars. So.
Oh, we didn't get dressed up tonight, so it's our fault.
That's all right. We probably could have done like an Oscar theme night and handed out awards and stuff like that, but I didn't have time to get all that together, and I wasn't.
It's too much work. That's too much work.
I wasn't going to wear a tuxedo. So I think I've worn a tie like twice in the last 8 years. So who knows? But anywho, at FTC_21 is where you can find me on Twitter. Serie Sitdown. We have our own channel on Apple Podcasts, on SoundCloud. You can find us on Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Wherever there are podcasts, you can find Serie Sitdown. As Richard mentioned, at Serie Sitdown on Twitter, Instagram. Give us a follow on those accounts. Drop any comments, drop any questions, anything that you have for future podcasts. We're interested in entertaining those ideas and bringing them to the show. Here on our YouTube channel, please subscribe, drop a like, leave any comments if you want for anything for the future as well. And Facebook, we're there from time to time. You're welcome to chime in with any takes on there as well. So would love to hear from all of you. Chat, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for interacting with us. And same time next week, my friend.
Yeah, same time. Sounds good to me.
All right. So that's a wrap here on this edition of Serie Sit Down. For Richard, I am Frank. As always, make sure you tell your paisans about us. Ciao.